Hey everybody, my name is Rusty, and online I'm known as Falcon1974. It's been a really long time since I've made any content whatsoever for YouTube, and if you're seeing this for the first time and you're trying to figure out why I only have one video and over 9,000 subscribers, well, I used to do YouTube in the Call of Duty space back in the day, and after that I actually did some pro wrestling stuff too. But today we're not talking about either of those, no. We're going to talk about what might be my favorite video game series ever, and that's Borderlands. Why are we talking about Borderlands? Well, Borderlands 4 is out, and right now I don't feel very good about it. I feel like it's lost its way over the years, and with each new release since Borderlands 2, there have been signs that the franchise may have peaked all the way back in 2012, and it just kind of pulled us along with nostalgia for some time. So strap in, load up on some Red Bull, and gather around the fire. Today we're talking about the Borderlands 4 problem. Now let's get this straight. I've been playing Borderlands since day one. October 20th, 2009, my world was changed forever when it came to video games. Prior to Borderlands, my time was split between playing the original Call of Duty with some friends and coworkers and World of Warcraft. Those were my big two go-tos. And Borderlands gave me both of those in one single game. I was even at PAX East one year when the pre-sequel was out, and if memory serves me right, I got to meet David Eddings while I was there, and I had like his business card and everything. It was pretty cool. But back to Borderlands and why it made it my go-to game since 2009. You could play solo, check. You want to play with friends, check, that's there. Cool rare loot to chase, check. I get to shoot things and the graphics are pretty cool and different from anything else that's out there, check. Skill trees are here too, which I liked in World of Warcraft. Yeah, that's part of it too, big bonus. I've played each of the 4 entries in the main Borderlands series, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and even both of the Tales from the Borderlands, the Telltale style adventures, played all of it. I was very much looking forward to this 4th installment of the main Siren-based storyline. And are we going to get answers to what's going on with everything? Is this the war that we were told was coming in the pre-sequel? The short answer is a lot like an episode of Lost. We got more questions than we got answers. Now, personally, I feel like Borderlands 4 has lost its way a little bit. Sure, the story stayed focused on one big bad guy throughout the entire game, but did it really? I feel like we had more interaction with the 3 generals than we did with the Timekeeper himself. We saw the Timekeeper at the beginning of the game, and we saw him at the end of the game, and every once in a while he'd pop in on somebody's bolt, and that was about it. He just kind of hid. He hid in Dominion until the end of the game, and even after that, he wasn't the final boss of the game. We had to, and spoiler alert if you haven't played yet, we had to kill RJ. The guy that said he was going to betray us 10 minutes into the game. Now, in Borderlands 3, we all complained that we didn't have a boss that felt, well, really ominous and dangerous or a threat. And I would say that Tyreen and Troy themselves were a bigger threat than the Timekeeper himself at the moment. Tyreen wanted to just destroy the world and be a god. That was her whole big thing, and Troy was there to help her do it. Borderlands 1, the big bad, was the thing Tyreen wanted to be. Jack stole the eye of it and was, that was only the tip of the monster itself inside of the vault. In Borderlands 2, we had Jack. Borderlands the pre-sequel, well, it was Jack again via the Sentinel boss. And the Timekeeper, he wanted to keep a door closed like your grandmother in the summer when you go outside, then inside, and then back outside again. He just wants to keep the door closed, alright? And not only that, he failed 3 separate times with the vaults that are in the Fadefield, Terminus Range, and Carcadia Burn. Those were his original vaults. So the one that he's guarding now, it's just like, this is mine, stay away from it. Now, it's not just the bosses that make the game memorable. We also have memorable NPCs to interact with and bosses to defeat, right? So on the NPC side, you look at Borderlands 1, and you got NPCs such as Marcus, Claptrap, Zed, Tannis, Moxie, Scooter. That's just the beginning of it. Borderlands 2, they went and expanded on everything, right? You added Hammerlock, Mr. Torg, Tiny Tina, Ellie. All of the previous Vault Hunters are your NPCs as well, and they felt like they were additions to the game, and it mattered. They weren't just there for filler content. They were part of the universe, and it made it feel really, really special. Borderlands 3 had some of that as well. They even added in Ava, where love her or hate her, she's there. She's okay. She gave us some of the best DLC with the Ava murder mysteries. I actually dug that stuff. Maurice is in there, Wainwright, Jacobs, and if you didn't play Tales from the Borderlands, Vaughn and Reese are part of that too. Everyone was there, and they all wanted to help you win. Not only that, you felt like they were your backup. In Borderlands 4, we really only got like one memorable NPC per area. And one of the NPCs was fully spoiled to us by a vending machine talking to us. If you didn't catch it, that was Zane early on. I don't know what to tell you. But besides that, Fade Fields, we got Rush. Carcadia Burned, we got Levane. Defiant Calder was our point of contact in Terminus Range, and not a single one of them actually felt like they were doing anything to help us once we got to Dominion. We were there to help them, but there was really nothing in return that we got back from them. And like I said, those vending machines, that's a hell of a way to tell Zane's going to be in the game before he shows up. You go and spend some cash or turn something in and junk all your stuff, Zane's talking to you. And not only that, with Zane, you hear him, you don't see him until what could almost be halfway through the story, depending upon which way you go around the map. The same could be said about Amara, too. We get her in Terminus Range, we get Zane over in Carcadia Burn. She's over at the Sanctuary 3 wreck. And what's left over? Oh, you just got her and Moxie and Zane and Claptrap when you first see him on the, at the edge of the island itself. You got Maurice's vending machines, they're all here, but there's no Maurice. Marcus is nowhere to be found, no Tanis, no Ava, no Hammerlock. We get Genevieve. She has her own side mission, albeit it's your standard toilet mission that we get in every one of the games. And no, seriously, Genevieve is a toilet this time around, and Balex is back, but no voice. He's been turned into a toy for a thresher for Zane. And the one person we get in the entire game that felt genuine as an NPC and had more character development than almost every other NPC that I've listed off so far was Zadra. And what did they do? They kill her off right before the end of the game. She was part of the big bad collective of the Timekeeper, and then once she found her way and decided she didn't want to be part of that anymore, nope, she's dead. No longer with us. I kind of feel like that's a bit of a waste. And we even have Lilith back, but it seems like they almost went too far away of the complaint from Borderlands 3 of, hey, let's go talk to Lilith every 10 minutes, to, talk to her if you feel like it. It really doesn't matter to us. Now, let's talk about the bosses. And I would say Borderlands 4 only has a few memorable bosses. You got one for each area, Timekeeper, and by extension, RJ. And half the time, I can't even tell you what the names of the main area bosses are half the time, and there's a ton of world bosses. Rifts that just pop up, drill sites, auger mines, so on, but I can't tell you their names. And it's not because it's new, right? It's not because the game's new. It's because they don't feel memorable. You don't have to go there as part of the story for all of these world bosses. For the vaults even, you don't have to open a single vault if you don't want to. It's absolutely optional, as is most everything in this game. But with Borderlands 1, you're never going to forget Nine Toes, Sledge, Mad Mel, Crom, Baron Flint, the Rack Hive, or the Destroyer. You know all of those by heart. It's just there. It's built into the whole lore of the game because you had to kill every single one of them. Borderlands 2, you had Knuckle Dragger, Boom Boom, Captain Flint, Wilhelm, Bloodwing, Bunker, and the Warrior, just to name a few. In the pre-sequel, you had Red Belly and the Bosun, Zarpedon, Felicity the Crazed Constructor, you had the Sentinel. Not only that, you also got the Invincible Sentinel, which was pretty cool. Borderlands 3, you might have had the most as far as bosses that just felt awesomely memorable. In the main game, Mouthpiece, Gigamine, both of the Trunts, Katagawa as well as his big-ass ball, the Rampager, Genevieve, Grave Ward, the Agonizer 9000, Carnivora, Troy, and Tyrene Calypso, and that's even before we get to any of the takedowns, any of the seasonal content that we got, and much more. Now, I'm not kidding about this when I say that other than the Timekeeper and RJ, I can consistently remember the name of one boss right now, and that's Splash Zone. Why? He's part of the story. You have to go kill him in order to get your jetpack. And then we all abused the living hell out of him as we leveled up. So we know the name Splash Zone because we're there more than any other boss in this game. He's probably the most killed boss in this game right now. I can't name off any of the vault monsters, the drill site bosses, the auger mine bosses. I just kind of go to it and go, oh, this one's a Ripper, this one's a Thresher, this is a Pangolin, this is an Order Bunker, and so on and so forth. And when we move on from the bosses, what else doesn't feel special anymore are zones. In Borderlands 1 all the way through to Borderlands 3, we had awesome zones. Each one was sorta different from the one you were just in, and it felt like it had its own thing going on. You know, sure, Borderlands 1 was just wide open desert most of the time, but still, we had different areas. You knew where you were in each one. You kind of understood that as you moved on, it was going to be harder to get to that area. And for me, I don't care if you splice up each of these 4 areas of Kairos and Elpis and make it look like the latest gerrymandered state voting map. There's really only 4 areas. It doesn't matter. Each of those subset of those 4, they all look and feel the same. There's nothing different in the Fade Fields that tells me I'm in a different area, and the same goes with Terminus Range and Carcadia Burn, and Dominion, really. And some of you might say, well, you just haven't played it enough. I've 100%ed the game on Rafa. I collected everything that you can collect. I've seen every part of the map there is to see, and it just doesn't feel like I need to play it again right now. I have a level 20-something Harlow I started. I started and deleted an Amon and restarted it again. I have Vex at a level 5. I just wasn't feeling it because I've played the story already. I do tend to play the Soldier the first time in each of the entries, but up until this, I play every Vault Hunter there is, and I was excited about playing each one of them. Not so much this time. And the reason why is I can only go through what I'm going to call a circular storyline so many times. There's really only 2 paths you can take. You can start in the Fade Fields, and then you have to figure out which way you're going to go. Are you going to go to Carcadia Burn first, or are you going to go to Terminus Range first? If you go, you're going to end up at both at some point, but, there's no rush to do either one in either order. You just pick one, and it doesn't matter which way you go. From my standpoint, playing through the game twice now, looking at it from the perspective of how the story should go, it should go counterclockwise, and you should head on off to Terminus Range before you go to Carcadia Burn. It's just the way it feels like it should go. But if you want to go the other way, you can. And it doesn't really have any impact on what you're going to see in the end game. Not that there is an end game right now. We're not even going to touch that in this game, in this video right now. And here's the other part that doesn't feel special to me, along with zones: the enemy types. Once you leave the Fade Fields, you're only going to see 2 more enemy types, period. That's it. 2. You have creeps in the Terminus Range and pangolins in Carcadia Burn. You see everything else in every section of the game. You see Threshers, the Order, Rippers, the Cratch, I think they're called Cratch, right? The flying guys. Manglers, they're all present in the Fade Fields, which have wild horns as their unique, right? So you're not going to see wild horns anywhere else. And sure, we basically had bandits in every game from Borderlands 1 on, but it felt like it was a little bit more special because we had different zones that made it feel special. Right now, I have to look at a map half the time and set a waypoint to know where I'm going, and following Echo 4's little trail of fun, like the little cars that follow crayon lines. And then half the time I don't even notice that I flipped over from one area to another. There's nothing that really differentiates stuff. The next part for me is kind of a big one, and for people who are fans of the pre-sequel, you kind of know where I'm going here. Elpis. I think it's a big disappointment for all of us, and we all as fans so very much wanted to go back and revisit what we all thought made Elpis absolutely awesome. And instead of Davis Pickle, all we got was jump pads, and that's it. You got, every once in a while you'd see a little spot that was part of Elpis itself, Moxie's bar or something like that, just kind of hanging out like a piece of junk. You had the jukebox was there, that kind of stuff. That was really all we got from that. Throughout the story, they kind of hinted to us. You literally saw the notion of being able to go back to Elpis, disintegrate in front of your eyes, only to go up there, kill the boss for Carcadia Burn, and then have it open up a wall to Dominion so you could go in and kill the Timekeeper. Elpis was no longer a location that we could get to, it was just a plot point to get further along in the game to get to the Timekeeper. Now all of that to me is why the base game doesn't feel special anymore. And we haven't even talked about DLC and the holidays and special events and stuff like that. And we've come to expect some really cool things when it comes to DLC for Borderlands. Each of the main games in the series, 1, 2, and 3, have had at least 4 major DLC updates, with at least one of those being something different from the main storyline. Like we had Dr. Ned, we had the Bounty of Blood, that kind of thing. Something that was a little bit different from what we come to expect from Borderlands itself. It didn't have anything really to do with the characters in the story, but it was really awesome. We had smaller ones like Headhunter packs, and even holiday-based events like Bloody Harvest, or we had Joy's Ultraviolet stuff going on there. And even the pre-sequel still got a really awesome DLC that was mainly focused on Claptrap, but I still go back and play it from time to time because of how awesome it is. Now, Borderlands 4 has yet to give us its first big DLC, but if their recent Halloween event has given us a glimpse, or if the PLC side of Wonderlands is any indication, this isn't going to be good. I basically skipped over the Halloween event we just had. Why? It was boring, not all that challenging, and it didn't even really keep the promise of new weather. I went into the bubble, it felt the same as every other Rift champion I went up against, and it just turned dark red. Really, it turned dark red. I play on the Xbox Series X. All we got was this red looking stuff. And it felt like every rift was just in Carcadia Burn. It didn't feel like it was raining blood when I was in there. Did we get cool new loot that was on par with all the rest of the cool loot that was in the game? No. We got some guns that I'll never use, and a grenade that had its damage scaling broken for over a week. Do you remember all the PLC in Wonderlands? I do. Because the PLC just felt like all those areas where you go in, you get, where you're on the map and you get jumped by a dude, and it just felt like that, like it was an arena. You got beat down each wave, you killed a boss, and you got out. That was what the PLC inside of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands felt like for me. With this one, Rush is starting to feel a lot like that. This next DLC that's about to come out, it feels like that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna kill some order. We're gonna go into another room. We're gonna kill some more order. And then we're gonna go to another room, kill some more order. And then we're gonna kill a boss and then rinse and repeat. That's what we're gonna get. Now, if this is what I'm getting instead of some new story, I'm not feeling all that good about the big story DLC with Ellie that's coming. I feel like we're just going to get this Order-style bunker and maybe a Rift event where it's snowing in the bubble like a snow globe, and it won't even look like snow, it's just going to be white and hazy and make it feel like I'm in Terminus Range all the time when I'm doing a Rift event. But they promised us more story. They promised us a new Vault Hunter that's going to be based on luck. If you remember, most of us didn't like the luck system inside of Wonderlands, so it's going to be rather interesting to see what the luck system is like with this new Vault Hunter. And I'm sure you're probably all asking yourself right now, did you pay for all the DLC already? And the answer is yes. I have every bit of Borderlands there is to have up until now, and I'm going to have every bit of Borderlands that is forthcoming until the end of Borderlands 4. And I should have learned from Wonderlands when they rebranded DLC as PLC and giving us a bajillion guns and chaos levels, but I didn't, because I still, even through everything that's happened up until now, I still have hope that the developers, the writers, and everyone at Gearbox knows what we want. And that's one big thing: memories. And as it stands right now, let's hope at the end of this game's life cycle they prove me wrong and give me a lot of great memories that I can go back and look on when Borderlands 5 comes out and I go, man, Borderlands 4 was really, really awesome. And with that, that's all I have to say about Borderlands 4 right now. We're early in the life cycle. It's only been a couple months. We don't have the big DLC yet, but we still don't have the big memories. And that's really what I'm looking at when it comes to Borderlands games. I'm looking at memories. Borderlands 1, it was the memory of, man, this is a great new game. It's awesome. Borderlands 2, we all have the memory of Jack and playing through that entire game over and over and over. And all the different things, you know, from the plot points of Roland getting shot and everything like that. Just stuff that you go, oh my god, I can't believe they did that to us. Even the pre-sequel, right? You got to play as Claptrap, and they did something different and stuck us on the moon, and you got to bounce around, and it was fun. Finding little things like the hidden bosses in the pre-sequel. If you didn't know that there's hidden bosses, there's a couple hidden bosses in the pre-sequel, and it's pretty cool. Every time I play it, I try to get up to a max level and go kill that guy. It's fun. I like killing the big Kraken. But let me know what you think down in the comments. What is it that makes Borderlands special to you when it comes to Borderlands 4? Or is there something missing in Borderlands 4 that you think they need to bring back, either in a DLC or in the next Borderlands game itself? Like, what does this game need to give you those memories that you talk about the game for years? Let me know in the comments. I don't know if I'm going to do any more Borderlands content. Maybe I'll start streaming. I don't know. But leave a comment down below. Hit the like button if you want to. And subscribe if you feel like it, in case I do decide to go out there and make some more Borderlands content. We'll talk to you next time. My name is Rusty. Later.